You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It's your host, Brian Fullerton here, hanging out with you guys in studio. And we have a special guest on the podcast. We've got none other than Kevin Frost of Fall River Lawn Care. Kevin, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's things been over there?
Good. It's the weather's holding off, which is good. We got 40s and 50-degree weather. Starting to bang out those fall cleanups this week and make that last big haul of that lawn care and leaf cleanup revenue, man. So we're digging that. And honestly, after that, it's just kind of the waiting game for snow. So can't wait for the white gold. But you guys, you guys don't really deal with too much snow down in where are you at again? Alabama?
No.
Arkansas. I knew that.
No,
Arkansas, bro.
Yeah, I'm jealous of the snow. I've actually never been like around snow more than like 3 or 4 inches. That's the most I've ever been around.
What?
And I keep saying every year, I want to come up north to somebody and like hang out and see real snow, but I've never actually made the trip in the winter. I need to do that at some point.
Right. Well, it's crazy. All you down south folks, and God bless you guys, all my Florida, listeners. And I mean, this podcast is like worldwide at this point, and it's crazy. Like we get people from California, Florida, Alabama, and you guys rarely see snow, like you just said. And it's funny because people came up to our live event last year and it was like 40 degrees out for the day. And everybody was like, man, it's so freaking cold. All of our Southern friends and all the local people are like, man, beautiful day, huh? Beautiful day. It was just pretty funny poking fun of Jason Creel, Paul Jameson, those guys. They're used to that 70, 80 degree weather, all through fall and winter, which is just bizarre. I can't even imagine. But any which way. But, well, if you guys don't know, Kevin Frost, he runs a lawn and landscape business called Fall River Lawn Care, and he's got actually a pretty unique startup story. He bought a business and grew it from where it was over the last 3, 4, 5 years. And got a cool story right now with possibly making a transition, whether he's going to have 2 companies or if he's just going to retire and move on to a different career with real estate. But you want to get these guys up to speed for a quick minute in case they don't know you, because you and I go way back, but not everybody gets to know you from just YouTube and social media.
Right. I started. I think it's like 6 years ago now, and like Brian said, I bought. Fall River was an existing business. I was kind of that guy that like the October before I got out there and I got this idea to go try lawn care. And I just kind of went out and put an ad on Craigslist, picked up like 2 clients right at the end of the year for like fall cleanup type stuff. And that kind of spurred me to go, okay, I'm going to try to do this. I want to try to, get some more professional equipment, not just have, my homeowner mower, blower, weed eater setup.
Sure.
So over the winter, I started searching and looking for equipment and ended up finding Fall River on Craigslist and decided to call the guy and just kind of talk about his equipment, talk about his customers. And, he told me he had like 20 clients and he had the 36-inch mower that I still have to this day.
Yeah.
He had a trailer, weed eater, blower, everything was commercial grade. So we kind of did some negotiation back and forth. I was really nervous about the clients because there were no contracts of any kind. Thankfully, I was nervous about that because I ended up with only 8 of those clients that he said he had 20 of.
Right.
So I jumped into it that next year, kind of with both feet, and had absolutely no clue what I was doing. That whole fake it till you make it kind of thing.
Yeah, that's okay. Well, it's I want to unpackage that story a little bit because a lot of guys that ask us, hey, like, should I buy into a lawn care business? I'm always like, it depends. It really depends. I kind of look at that as 2 transactions. One is the equipment, one is the accounts, and the equipment has its own face value, right? A mower whether it's new or used, it's worth a certain amount of money. And customers could be, they could be. But that's not always a guarantee that they're going to transfer over something that, you were just alluding to, Well, let's do this. I want to talk about a little trip down memory lane. You and I actually go way back on YouTube to the very beginning. You were actually like one of my first pseudo, I guess you could say mentors doing YouTube. It's actually kind of a weird thing to say or moniker, but I guess if you actually contextualize it, I would say that, because you kind of took me under your wing. You're like, hey dude, here's some ways to title and tag, and here's videos that work and better cameras and microphones. And I've got some stuff to share with just taking it all the way back to what was that, spring of 2016, something like that. Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
It feels like ages ago, even though it was 3 minutes ago, doesn't it? But let's do this. We're going to use the good old Paul Jameson and Naylor Taliaferro transition, which is kick it over to the best producer in the biz, and then we're going to come right on back.
Eyewitness News can confirm that there continues to be a rash of robberies at local landscaping warehouses. The story we reported last week on the theft of lawn care equipment has taken a turn for the worst, with numerous break-ins.
Don't let this be you. Think ahead. Prepare for the future. No lock is bulletproof, but give your equipment and livelihood a fighting chance with the security it needs from Proven Locks. Store your equipment with confidence and enjoy the peace of mind knowing your equipment is safe from thieves. Proven Locks makes trailer coupler locks to protect your utility and enclosed trailers, and it's the lock Brian Fullerton personally uses on his trailer now for over 4 years. These are definitely a premium lock, but when you consider a dump trailer costs $9,000, an enclosed trailer alone is $10,000 plus $30,000 with 2 lawnmowers inside, you can see it's a no-brainer to protect your investment.
Hey, the exciting thing here is that these guys are also a Brian's 10 partner, where you guys can save over 10% on any order.
Visit provenlocks.com or check the link in the show notes, and they also have a great assortment of additional locking accessories like truck door locks and wheel locks to keep your equipment and trailers secure. Provenlocks.com. That's provenlocks.com.
All right, good deal, guys. We'll always appreciate Marty bringing the show to you guys Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 episodes a week, as we try to stay consistent with this bad boy to give you guys some fun content to listen to as you guys are out there mowing that grass, making that cash. What do they say, Kevin? Out there raking those leaves, making that cheese. This is getting bad. And then what is it? Plowing that snow, making that dough. I think Paul gets a nickel every time we say that, doesn't he? Something like that. But
probably so.
Which by the end of the year he'll have enough to buy a couple cups of coffee at Tim Hortons, right? So. Well, I want to take it back, dude, because 2016 is when I befriended you, and probably vice versa. And it's just cool to see you grow personally and professionally the last 4 years. You've moved homes. You've had a baby girl, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So you've moved. You've started a company. You've started a family. Like a lot of firsts in the last 3 or 4 years, and you grew your company to a pretty good size, and also started branching out, which is cool, with different services. So why don't you take it back to 2016 when we bumped into each other? What was your thought with buying the pre-existing business versus starting a business of your own? What did you just want to hit the ground running, or did you come from a career where you got to replace that income immediately? What were you thinking back then?
Well, I had been laid off from my job. I worked for the power company here in Arkansas for 10 years, and they outsourced my job.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
once I left there, which they didn't really give me much option. I mean, I worked in a safety department, so we dealt with OSHA and all this kind of stuff all the time.
Sure.
And we had meetings all the time. I mean, it's corporate world. That's one thing in the corporate world. They love meetings.
Oh, yeah.
So we would have meetings all the time, and they called us in for a meeting like normal. And we walked in there, and we're all kind of laughing and getting our coffee and all that. And all of a sudden, our boss laid a piece of paper in front of us, and he goes, "I'll be outside if you have any questions."
What?
And yeah, straight up, that's exactly how I did it. Wow. And we all sat there and started reading that letter. There was I think there were 6 of us in there at the time, in a conference room. And I worked with one lady who read way faster than the rest of us, and she started crying.
Oh my
and
God.
The rest of us were like, oh God, I got to read faster.
Oh my God.
And,
dude, no way.
And it was just like, and that's how we all found out that we were going to lose our jobs. And, you know, of course we called him back in there because we're like, okay, we got questions. Trying to figure out what's going to happen next. And me being a younger guy in the company, I didn't have any options. It was pretty much, here's the severance package we're going to give you and good luck.
Wow.
And your last day is 2 months from now. So I finished it out the last 2 months and I got my severance package. So I had that money kind of sitting in an account. I wasn't spending it. Did some college classes, just trying to figure things out. And a buddy of mine's dad was like, have you ever looked into lawn care? He's like, I know a guy that does it. He does really good at it. It might be something you might want to look at. So that's whenever I kind of started looking. And like I said before, jumped into it a little bit and then started looking for the company. Like that's the thing with buying a company is it's a very nerve-wracking thing because especially with me not knowing anything, but I knew enough to realize I had to be very careful about those existing customers. And I have lots of people reach out to me talking about, hey, what should I do? How do I buy this company? How do I do this? And like, that's the biggest thing I keep saying to people is, you know, you have to do your research. I mean, research. I sat there and was like looking on eBay, looking on Craigslist, trying to figure out what every piece of equipment was worth, you know, as a used piece of equipment, and kind of got an idea of where that price range was for the equipment. Kind of like you said, split it into two different things and then started evaluating the customers. He wasn't willing to like go out and meet face to face with the customers and do an introduction and all that kind of stuff. So I very quickly just started telling him, hey, well, you know, it just makes your customers kind of worthless. You know, I was like, they're not worth what you are trying to sell them for. So I negotiated the price down to what I felt like the equipment was worth and a little bit of what the customers might be worth. And I made him that offer and he ended up accepting it. And we made the deal over the winter. And I was driving a Dodge Challenger at the time because I was commuting to that corporate job. And like I was out trying to buy a truck, trade that car off, and to be able to pull a trailer around. And it all kind of happened really fast there at the beginning.
Wow.
Jumping into buying that company.
Now, what was your wife working at the time, or she's a teacher, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, she's a teacher, so she was working, and we were kind of living off of her income. And that first whole season, we kind of made the decision, like, okay, we bought the company for $9,500 is what I ended up paying for Fall River.
Okay.
So we made the decision, hey, we want to pay that money back to ourselves because we took it out of our savings. And we made that decision at that point, okay, we're going to live off your income. Everything that Fall River brings in goes into the savings account and pays us back. So that first season, I profited $10,000.
Oh, okay.
So I paid the company off in one season.
Wow.
So season one, on paper, I didn't make any money because I paid myself back.
Like your kind of like your first loan. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I didn't pay myself. I worked for free all season long because it was just that whole, I wanted to be debt free. I wanted the company to be debt free.
Yeah.
It took me a whole nother season to even make the commitment to buy the 52-inch mower. So I was mowing all these yards with a 36-inch V-Ride, Skag V-Ride.
And you've got some pretty wide open properties. I mean, I've watched the videos, obviously, past and present, and you get that's a lot of work with the 36. You know,
it really was, and like I didn't realize, and it took me a long time to make that decision to buy that 52. But when I finally did, and I got out there and started mowing, I was like, I was done with my whole schedule, like at 2:00 instead of 5:00. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Right.
Faster?
Well, I remember you saying, I don't know if it was on podcast that you did with Paul, or if it was a different podcast. But you had said like your first year, you didn't have a ton of customers, but you would get done at, 10, 11, 12, in the morning, or lunchtime, and then go pass out flyers to drum up new business. And I think like one of the tips you had said, I thought was really good. You're like, well, just because I'm a new business and I don't have like more customers doesn't mean like I just get to go home and I'm done for the day and like pretend to, fiddle around on social media. You were like, I was passing out flyers. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I thought you said you were passing out flyers like every day till 2, 3 o'clock, and then like researching more stuff about the business. How many customers did you get your first year, and what did you do to grow Fall River to get new customers? And how many customers ended up actually transferring over?
So the transfer of the customers was 8. Was what I ended up with. I had the 2 customers that I had got that year before right there in the fall.
Okay.
They ended up sticking with me. So I started the season with 10 customers. And then, like you said, I was out there passing out flyers. I was building, there was already a website, but I was updating the website. I used Brian Ring Lawn Care to upgrade the website. So I was working with him to upgrade the website. Working on the Google business page, trying to get it up there in the rankings. I wanted to be in that top 3 spots because I was like, you got to push that more button to see me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't want them to have to push that more button. I want them to see me in that top 3 spots when they search lawn care, Benton, Arkansas.
Okay.
So I worked really hard to do that. Like you said, I was out there hitting the streets, passing out flyers. I think by the end of that season, I think I was sitting somewhere in the like 20 to 25, if I remember right, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So I was being very picky on my growth. I can remember listening to Keith Kalfas, and he was always talking about dissolving the bottom and building the top.
Mm-hmm.
So getting rid of those customers that you felt like you just had to take, in the beginning.
Right.
And everybody knows those customers, you don't really want the yard, but you're going to take it because you want the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of skipped that a little bit. Like I was really picky on the yards I wanted to take. If I went and I looked at the yard and I'm like, okay, this one's going to be a tough one to do by myself. I would skip over it. I would bid it really high. So it would have a lot of profit built in. Typically wouldn't get it because I bid it so high, but so I kind of slowly was building the company, especially that first and second year, just being really picky about what yards I wanted to do and what yards I didn't want to do.
That's really, really cool. That's really, really smart. I actually did a coaching call with a gentleman just the other day. If it was Robert or Tyler, one of the 2 guys. So shout out to them if they're listening to the podcast. And I think it was the first guy, Robert. He asked me if I had to do it all over again. He's got a background in roofing and transitioning next year to lawn and landscape. And he said, like, I know there's 10 different things. He's like, I listened to your podcast, but he said, what's the number one thing? And I said, it's just pricing. I mean, yeah, names and colors and logos and branding and all this other mess. But it was just pricing. I didn't know my worth. I didn't charge appropriately. I didn't know the market. We'd be cutting along for $20, $25, and should have been 35 or 40, and it's like if you almost get that one right, it seems like everything else falls into place. Like get your pricing right. Doing a leaf cleanup for $100, $150 when it should be $250 or $300. So kudos to you for coming out of the gate swinging like that. That's actually really, really awesome. That's probably an easy little segue with Keith Kalfas. You were saying, so you saw his videos 5-6 years ago. We always got to go down this whole rabbit hole, like the whole YouTube story and lawn care, because you have a YouTube channel. You've grown it pretty well. It's got I think like 10,000 plus subscribers, and again, like you've been on social media for a long time. What was that part of the research process when you were looking to buy a company that you just stumbled upon some different lawn care YouTube videos? Or take us back and maybe tell the story about how you got started doing YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. It started out with, like, of course, everybody else, Eat to Freak. I mean, he was like the main guy out there.
Yep.
Stan was already around a little bit. He wasn't anywhere near as big as he is now. Who else? Stan.
Top Notch.
Keith. Yeah, Top Notch was around. So, all the original guys were around. I had always played with cameras as a kid, like in high school and around my friends. That was back in the Bam Margera Jackass kind of days. And some of the older guys will remember that. The younger guys may not.
Mm-hmm.
But so that kind of inspired me to take a camera out and hang out with my friends and record stupid stuff. And so I'd done that as a kid, and then I kind of gotten away from it as I grew up and got older, and then started watching all these YouTube videos. And I was like, man, I think I could do that too. And it would be really neat to like look back on 10 years from now and see, hey, what was I thinking about, or what was going on back in my first year of owning Fall River. So that was kind of the way it all started, was just to document it kind of for myself and just getting these ideas from seeing other guys. I imitated Brian Topnotch quite a bit, you know, his style of videos, the vlog and the montages of the mowing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to him and was just kind of wanted to talk to him, pick his brain. And he was one of those guys that just kind of like text me back and or messaged me back and just sent me his phone number. I was like, hey, give me a call. And I got on the phone with him and ended up being on the phone with him for like 2 hours, talking YouTube the whole time. Kind of like what you were saying earlier about you and I, you know, you called me to pick my brain. I was calling him to pick his brain.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
It grew. It started growing over time. I mean, there was a lot of easy growth back then, I guess you could say, because the community was so small of the guys actually making videos. And little by little, more and more guys started making videos and creating channels. And it felt like some people were kind of struggling to grow as that happened.
You know, it's funny because when I got started, I think you had like 1,200 subscribers. And I remember us getting invited to the Echo UAG. Do you remember all that? And well, actually, before we go to that, I remember my first little shout out. It was actually with you. Remember we did a live stream, and this was like 5.
It was horrible.
It was so yeah, because I was on it and I messed up the whole internet. It was actually really funny because dude, you gave me a shout out. Like I was on your channel and I think it got, I don't know, 250 views maybe, you know, like that was like big time back then. And
right.
I might have had like 300-400 subs, maybe. I mean, maybe. This was probably 6 months into my channel. And I remember you saying like, hey dude, like let's do a live stream together and like, I'll give you a shout out. And I'm like, what's a shout out? You know? And I still hold it to this day. Like you're the only one that ever gave me a shout out. You and Johnny with Blades of Grass Lawn Care, the black guy down in Atlanta, Georgia. Awesome dude. Actually, well, we're shooting this podcast on Veterans Day, but so shout out to him. And I know he's, I think Marines, if not Marines Army, but great dude. His channel's blowing up right now.
Absolutely.
So salute to those guys for sure. But it was funny because I remember like doing the live stream, bro, and my channel like got 20 new subscribers in one night. I was like 10% growth in one night. Like this is insane, dude. Like this insane. Like I'm coming for you, Casey Neistat and Logan Paul, you know? And it was just so, it was so simple back then. It was so pure, you know, and there was no agendas, there was no products, there was no companies, there was no, you know, subscribe, you know, and try to get to 100,000. It was just like, hey, we're just making some vlogs. I was just trying to explain who I was still at that point, you know, and so I always appreciated the video that you and I did, and I will always be forever grateful for the first couple of videos that we did talking about tags and titles and thumbnails. Do you remember all this stuff like way back in the day?
Yep. We spent a lot of time on the phone back then talking YouTube.
Yeah. We were like, hey man, did you know that you can like tag it and like it'll come up in search? I'm like, no, dude, like tell me more about this, you know? And
you gotta have that lawn care tag, man.
Yeah, if you don't tag it with lawn care, you'll never get found on the ecosystem on the internet, you know, on the interwebs. And so some of you guys listening in, you guys are like, man, you guys are both simpletons. You're like, yeah, we were pretty basic back then, you know, but it was cool though, because after the channel started growing, I think I had like 1,000 subs maybe, and that was going into like November, December-ish. I remember you had your channel is double the size at least. And then the folks at Echo reached out and they're like, hey, we're going to do this, like not ambassador program, but like this kind of like influencer program. And it was the first of its kind. I think you had done some stuff with Echo. A couple other guys had done a little bit with Echo. And they did.
They did like a thing where they sent out some equipment to people and just asked you to do a video. I mean, it was very basic and, no kind of program, no contract, no nothing.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Very, very remedial. But, I'll also give them a little nod because they were the first ones that kind of like pioneered some of this influencer marketing in the green industry, and
absolutely. They definitely led the way.
Yeah. And I don't think it would be the same landscape of influencer marketing as it is today if those guys didn't get involved. But let's do this really quick. We're going to take another quick break. We're going to hear a little bit more again from our show sponsors with Marty, Mr. Producer, because again, if it wasn't for him, I don't think we'd have the same landscape we have today with the podcast being as successful as it is. So we owe a lot to him. Let's kick it back over to Marty, Mr. Producer, and then we'll come right on back.
Eyewitness News can confirm that there continues to be a rash of robberies at local landscaping warehouses. The story we reported last week on the theft of lawn care equipment has taken a turn for the worst, with numerous break-ins.
Don't let this be you. Think ahead. Prepare for the future. No lock is bulletproof, but give your equipment and livelihood a fighting chance with the security it needs from Proven Locks. Store your equipment with confidence and enjoy the peace of mind knowing your equipment is safe from thieves. Proven Locks makes trailer coupler locks to protect your utility and enclosed trailers. And it's the lock Brian Fullerton personally uses on his trailer now for over 4 years. These are definitely a premium lock, but when you consider a dump trailer costs $9,000, an enclosed trailer alone is $10,000 plus $30,000 with 2 lawnmowers inside, you can see it's a no-brainer to protect your investment.
Hey, the exciting thing here is that these guys are also a Brian's 10 partner where you guys can save over 10% on any order.
Visit provenlocks.com or check the link in the show notes, and they also have a great assortment of additional locking accessories like truck door locks and wheel locks to keep your equipment and trailers secure. Provenlocks.com. That's provenlocks.com.
Ratings and reviews. Each week, we take a minute to highlight your guys' reviews of the show.
It has been several shows since we last shared your 5-star Fullerton Unfiltered reviews. First one coming from Salty76. Great as always. I'm now finishing up my 4th year of doing property management. I'm 25 years old and was just able to buy a 36 horsepower, 61-inch bad boy Rebel. Love this thing to death, and you help me to get through my workday. God bless. Praying for everyone. And then he says, praise Jesus Christ, the one true Lord. Tell you what, I got to admire a man that loves the Lord and is not afraid to say so. Our next 5-star review from Al Blades. I know this dude. He says, from one industry professional to another, I just wanted to stop by and show some love to the podcast. I suggest if anyone's just getting into lawn care or if you're a full-on legend, Brian always drops golden nuggets that have helped my business and will help yours too. And he says, Mr. Producer, truly the best in the biz. Hey, let me, guys, quickly encourage you to check out Al Blades. That's with the Z on the end. Check out his Instagram. Watch the video for the Grassmaster. Yeah, he and I collaborated on that. I think it's some funny stuff. And don't forget to connect with Brian's Lawn Maintenance on the gram. And if yours truly, can help you with anything, reach out to me at MR Producer USA. Miguel on the go says, Brian, you just keep the momentum going. Love listening to your podcasts. So much info, so much to think about, so many notes. So thankful to have this info. And finally, Dan says, Brian's podcast is one of my favorites. Love his authenticity, his transparency. Even 12 years into my business, I'm constantly learning from him and his guests. Thanks a lot, Dan Lister of DTL Total Turf Care.
Want us to read your review next? Let us know how we're doing, and we might just read your review on next week's show.
All right, good deal, guys. We're going to come back here, talk to you a little bit more about the first ever infamous little influencer meetup that we did at Echo. And again, thank you to Marty for bringing the show to you guys Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Couldn't do it without him. And so let's get back to the Echo UAG trip. I know this is kind of like a trip down memory lane for both of us. Some of you guys that are just joining in, maybe you remember some of these old videos, but What do you remember when we were in the hotel room, me, you, Jason Ambro, and we were trying to like look at our YouTube stats and our YouTube numbers and like try to figure out like how the views worked and how the money worked. We had no clue, dude. Do you remember that? Like way back?
Yeah, I do remember that, but I remember coming into the hotel lobby and walking up to you. The first thing I said is, "Man, you're way shorter than I thought you were from those videos."
This is true. Well, you and Jason Ambro both said that. I'm like, hey, thanks, Dix. You know, like, wait. Jason Ambro's like, dude, you're way shorter.
You must hold the camera at an angle to make it look like you're taller.
Well, I try to hold it top down so I get rid of the double chin nowadays. But back then, I guess I was projecting. You know. Because I had so many people like, dude, you're a lot smaller in person. I'm like, I'm 5'10", bro. I'm like above average height. Like, you know, I think, I don't know.
It was that kit lens you had on that camera.
What did it add 6 inches on the height, something like that? I don't know. I was just like, all right, well, cool. Well, nice to meet you too, man. Because you and I rode from the airport over. They got this Tahoe or Navigator, whatever it was, and I just was like, whoa, dude, like we've arrived. And we had 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We were so stupid. I don't know what we thought. We were going to like a red carpet event, you know? And I don't know.
We went to the Holiday Inn Express.
Basically, yeah. And I'm like, man, look at these doors opening. The red velvet, you know, ropes are parting. Like we have made it. Like we never even got paid for anything. We just got a free trimmer, you know? But to us,
right,
we might as well have been millionaires. You know what I'm saying? And then, but I remember being back in the hotel room. We were just hanging out before a couple other guys had came in. I think we were some of the first people on deck. And it was funny because we had learned that like you could make a couple bucks doing YouTube. And it was funny because I think like I was making like $20 a month. I think you were making like $50 a month. And I think Jason Ambro was making like $100 a month. And we were like, what? Like you can make $100 a month? Like that's insane, you know? And that's when we started realizing like not all videos were created equal, not all ads were created equal. And by the way, you could actually like make money doing YouTube. Like we were, again, it was so honest, you know, we were just trying to make stuff up. You remember all these days? It was
yeah, totally. I when I started YouTube, it wasn't about making money by any means.
No,
I was hoping to make enough money to pay for the camera that I put on a credit card so I could make better videos.
Exactly.
That was my hope.
No, for sure, dude, for sure. Yeah, dude. So when we were up there just trying to figure out the YouTube money and all that fun stuff, we got the whole tour of the Echo plant and the facility, and a bunch of other guys came on down, you know, to the lobby. We're all just hanging out, but it was such a different time, man, doing YouTube. And you're right, it was top notch. It was Blake, Keith, and I watched a ton of your videos, dude. Like you were doing product reviews and stuff with like Milwaukee and DeWalt, and we were just trying to grow our businesses and just trying to like, it wasn't to like create content. It was just to like help people. I still try to do that, but so what are you doing now with social media? Are you still growing your channel? Are you still growing your Instagram, or how's your company looking? Give us maybe some modern updates. Where are you at right now with everything?
So with YouTube, I kind of got away from it a little bit. There was probably a 5 to 6 month period where I didn't put out really any videos. Just kind of life got in the way, more or less. Got a little bit burned out on making videos, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel here in the last month or two, I've actually kind of jumped back into it a little bit. I put out a couple videos. It's always tough whenever you do that, when you take a break like that and you come back, because like before I took the break, you know, I could put a video up and have 1,000 views in 24 hours.
Right.
And now it's like I put a video up and it has like 200 views in 24 hours. So,
yeah,
kind of getting out of your own head, not worrying about those analytics, and just kind of, getting back to the roots of doing it just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, we were talking about the whole money thing and getting paid to do this. And, it turns it into a business whenever that happens.
Right.
And I think that's one thing a lot of guys don't understand. I get a lot of hate sometimes about, oh, well, you just get, free products, or you just talk about that because you get paid. Mm-hmm. And it's no different than me going and mowing a guy's yard for money. I mean, it's okay for me to go mow a guy's yard for money, but it's not okay for me to make a video for money. I've never really understood that. We're supposed to be entrepreneurs, but now I've created another business for myself, but it's not okay that I make money with that business. I've never really understood that.
Well, I kind of hearken it to, you know, like a Tiger Woods or LeBron James. They get paid to promote Buick. It's like, first off, they don't even drive Buick. You know what I mean? But
Right.
but people are like, man, did you see that guy? He's got an eight-figure deal or 9-figure deal. And I'm like, awesome, man. Like, good for him. And then somebody else is like, dude, that guy just got a free mower and, you know, got paid, I don't know, $1,000 or 10 grand. I don't even know. And then people are like, oh, he's a sellout. And I'm I'm excited for that dude. I'm like, dude, that guy got a free mower. So he got to like save his family $10,000 and maybe got paid to make a couple of videos. It's not like you get paid to review them. It's not at all how it works. Not a video.
But the thing is you worked really hard to get to that point. All these guys that have these YouTube channels have worked really hard to get to that point.
Right.
Because I can guarantee you that first year I was on YouTube, there wasn't nobody offering me, you know, a mower to use or this piece of equipment to keep or in exchange for a video. There was none of that.
Right.
And we've worked really hard to build the following that we have to get those opportunities to work with these companies.
Right. Well, and I'm always excited when those companies or those opportunities come down the pipe, you know, because it just helps the content creator. It helps the fans. It helps the people watching the videos. Because I mean, then you get the latest and greatest, you know. But I'll tell you what. I want to go back to what you said a second ago. That was cool too. Was when you only do it for that and it turns into like business only instead of like, you know, you're doing it for fun because you enjoy it. That's when you get burned out. And I've seen a lot of people come, a lot of people go. And I heard Gary Vee, like, I don't know, dude, like 3 years ago, he said, FTN, he used a different adjective, you know, fudge the numbers.
Right.
And,
Right.
and that was a perfect timing for me to hear that because 2 years ago, like I thought that was what you did with YouTube. You just like reviewed stuff and you just taught people things. And I wasn't getting burned out. I was just like, it was not getting shallow. I just didn't want to continue doing what I was doing. I'm like, I just want to be me, you know, I just want to do videos and I know I'm a butthead. I know I'm not the most easiest guy to like or enjoy sometimes, to some people, but you know, like the last 2 years, I just decided to like, you know what? I don't care if the video gets 2,500 views, 25,000 views, or 250,000 views. None of my videos ever got, you know, big views. I'm always like, I actually put that on my goal card this year. I was like, Brian's All Maintenance will get a positive viral video, and we'll get tons of subs and views. It still hasn't happened. Maybe there's still got 5 weeks left of the season, you know, but.
Right.
But like I've never even got a viral video. Like we just are like the slow and steady guy. But I just was like, you know what? I like doing the videos that don't get the views. Like, hey, top 10 business books you can read to like better your life, or 3 ways to use a CRM like Yardbook or Jobber. You know, that can streamline your billing process so you don't take 8 hours on a weekend, you know, doing invoicing because that sucks. And it was so like authentic, and then my channel's been like that ever since. Just a little recalibration like 2 years ago, and it's grown like crazy because of that, because it's fun. I enjoy doing it, you know. And I don't know, dude, we need some more Kevin Fall River videos. I don't know, are you well, is that the segue or what?
The segue,
the segue for real estate. Are you gonna bring it up, or am I gonna bring the elephant in the room, you know?
I guess you're gonna have to bring it up. Yeah, making the transition a little bit in the life. I've been going to school for the last like roughly 6 months or so.
Yeah.
A lot of guys know I battled cancer for 6 years. And this was way back whenever I worked in the corporate world. I'm so thankful. That's weird to say. Thankful to say I had cancer at that point because I had great insurance. So Amen. I didn't go into debt or anything during all that, and got some of the best treatment I could ever have. Yeah. Thankfully, I'm cancer free and I'm a survivor, so I'm happy for that.
That's awesome, dude. Amen. No, it's huge.
I appreciate it.
I remember your video. It was like your checkup. You were driving in the truck, and I think you even like had the trailer in tow or something on the next video you were working, and whatever was on like the back of your lungs or chest, like it was gone or inert or whatever. And I didn't really know you from Adam, but I was like, dude, good for this guy, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm very thankful to have had what I had back then. And the only problem is I do have pain from it. I have muscle damage in my back and my shoulder from where the tumor was. I'm in pain all the time. I'm in pain 24/7. I'm never not in pain.
Wow.
As I've gotten older, I'm pushing 40 now, and the pain has gotten worse and worse, especially with the wear and tear that lawn care has on our bodies.
Sure.
That's one thing I will suggest to all guys. Take care of your body. Wear good shoes. Don't buy cheap shoes. Buy that suspension seat, spend that little extra money to save your back.
Amen.
I know you're young right now and you think you're invincible. I promise you're not, because I used to think I was invincible and now I'm paying for it.
Amen.
And I wish I'd taken better care of my body back in the day.
That's huge, man. I was on a coaching call with a guy yesterday, and his name's Tyler. He listens to the podcast, and he deals with Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, whatever that one is that you get the commercials for, and
right.
So he's had to deal with like family stuff. He's running solo with like 60, 70 accounts or something. He's got to drink like 2 gallons of water per day, and crazy medicines. And his wife actually got like laid off like 5-6 months ago, but she's like hustling on the side. With a crafting business and to supplement, and they got a newborn baby. And I'm like, dude, this guy's a butt kicker, dude. And it's just cool to see like people with health challenges still overcoming and kicking butt and dealing with that heat, and right back at you with you, dude. I mean, I remember you saying that in a video. I'm like, I never would have known, never would have known.
Yeah, it definitely is not something I've ever really talked about. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, like for me, it's always been like, I don't want people to feel like I want sympathy. I don't want sympathy. Right. I really don't. I just want to, I would rather just have a normal life and not have to have dealt with any of that. But it was just like, you take the cards that are dealt and you deal with those cards and you keep going. Right. Because I mean, I have people all the time tell me, I just don't know how you would have dealt with that or how I would have dealt with that, and I'm like, it's kind of a weird feeling whenever that doctor tells you got cancer. I mean, it's like a shock to the system there, but then you realize you don't have any direction to go except for forward. And forward is to defeat it, and that was my only option. And I just went forward and took every day in stride and figured out what that day was gonna, what was it gonna take to get through that day, and not worry about tomorrow.
What made you dig deep, or like what kept you going?
I mean, really, it was just the fact that I wanted to be around for my wife. I wanted to, eventually we were gonna have a family, and I wanted to be here for all that. So it was just like, to me, I had no other choice. I mean, I never really thought about any other choice other than let's just keep moving forward. This is what we have to deal with right now, and we're just going to deal with it. There's nothing else you can do. And you can take that into life everywhere you go. I mean, in your business, you're going to have problems come up. And instead of getting stressed out about it and, worrying and, you just have to go right through the middle of it and figure it out and fix it, defeat it, however you want to look at it.
That's good, man. I mean, it's that will to move on, and I don't know. Everybody faces their own challenges in life, different struggles. Some people, it's a health challenge. Some people, it's a relationship challenge. Some people, it's just a mental challenge. A self-image thing, financial thing. Mine was definitely like finances and self-image for sure. Because, we didn't come from any money, so I didn't know how to make it, get it, earn it, multiply it, grow it, keep it, and then outside of that, like nobody ever told me I was really worth much. So like you walk around thinking you're worth less, and you don't know how to charge, you don't know how to value or position yourself in the marketplace, you know? And I heard somebody say once, if all you have is a money problem, you better thank God, because you can solve a money problem in you know, a couple of years. But, you know, a health challenge or a marriage issue or relationship issue, like those are real issues. Those are real problems, you know? And so kudos to you, dude. I'm really, really excited for you. I'm really, really proud of you, dude. Well,
I appreciate it.
Well, you went lateral, I know, with your business. You started getting into a couple of different services the last 24 months or so. And so what was the transition, and where are you at now with doing the real estate opportunity? Because is that something that, you know, you were looking to get into, or just something new, or what, you know, explain that for these guys, because I know it's something that you're really excited about.
So with the real estate, it was kind of back to what I was saying, is that, you know, I deal with the pain and all that, and it has kind of become to the point that it's a little bit too much to have to deal with some days. It's really hard to get out there some days and do what we do. I mean, everybody knows how hard this business is. But so that's whenever I had kind of started looking at other things, and I have that entrepreneur mind. So I knew I kind of wanted to be in business for myself, but I wanted to do something a little less physical. And years ago, I had looked at real estate.
Okay.
And I never jumped into it. I never went for it. I did some houses. I flipped some houses. And kind of 08 years, if you remember 08, the housing bubble, whenever it all crashed.
Yeah.
I got stuck with a flip house and had to turn it into a rental house. It was the rental house from hell. It was not a fun experience, but dealt with that for several years, and that kind of pushed me away from real estate. Little by little. I mean, I've always had that passion for it. So, my wife and I took a little vacation, and we had been kind of talking about things, and I told her kind of what I was wanting to do and go to real estate school. And she was super supportive, and she was like, let's just do it. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And, so as soon as we got back from our trip, I jumped in and, paid for the school and started doing the school. The school's all online. So, I started just juggling with doing business and taking the school at the same time. Last year, business side, last year I had grown Fall River quite a bit. I started jumping into hardscape, doing lots of concrete work. I was doing a lot of subcontracting, taking on way bigger jobs than I'd ever taken on before, anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000 landscape projects.
Wow. And
doing a whole lot of subcontracting. Had no employees through all of that. And it was stressful, you know, to juggle all that and have all this money coming in, have all that money going out for material and subcontractors, and then trying to make sure you still had at least a little bit left for yourself for the time you spent on it. And so this year, with deciding to get into the real estate, I kind of took a step back. COVID actually caused me to lose a couple of accounts where people got sent home here, and I had several customers reach out and say, hey, I'm stuck at the house. I'm going to just take care of my own yard, you know? So I lost a few customers with that. I had a big commercial account. I ended up losing that. This was actually... the commercial account, I lost that the day that my wife and I went on vacation.
Oh, wow.
Like I was driving to Texas and got the email that they were, you know, canceling on me.
Oh, wow.
And I remember reading that email and like trying to be like, okay, I just got to focus on family. You know, I'm supposed to be on a family trip. You know, I got to focus on family. And I remember how hard it was to like not think about all the money I just lost off of that commercial account.
Right.
And had already been having these struggles with, did I want to leave lawn care, or did I want to do real estate? What do I want to do? And I think that actually kind of gave me that little bit of a push towards the real estate, was losing that big commercial account like that. So
That's interesting.
Like I said, whenever I got back, jumped right back into it and started going to school. And now I'm literally waiting on the state to send me my license. I've taken the exam.
Yeah.
I can't legally say I'm a real estate agent until I have that license in my hand.
Right.
But I should have that license next week.
Wow, dude, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. I wish we had like the default button that used to be like, bow, 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 but I changed all the little hotkeys on the keypad. And I was just listening to a podcast today with Paul Jameson and Naylor. They were like talking about all the stock sounds that are all plugged into it. And Julio.
I was listening to that today.
you know, yeah, is that funny? I was like, it was the episode today with Mark Parker. And it's just funny. Like, we're recording these in real time, you know, guys. And I need to get like the wah, 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 you know, and we need to get
get the cheers.
The tear. Yeah, we got to get the Mark Parker laugh. That's the one we got to get.
Yeah. That one was hilarious.
He's got an infectious laugh, bro. He's that guy's an amazing dude. And so that's awesome, dude. But good for you, man. I'm excited for you. You're chasing your dreams down and you know, one thing after another, and you know, trying to make some moves and position yourself different. I totally understand the exit strategy of a green industry business. I tell people all the time, go figure real estate. I said, like, either get like 10 or 20 different, you know, rental properties or passive income assets, or build a 20, 30, 50 person company and get out of the field, because it's a young man's game. And I'd say,
that's one of the things I didn't really want to do.
Right.
I was hanging out with Blake Hawthorne from It's His Turf quite a bit.
Yeah.
He's about 40 minutes from me.
Okay.
He has a bigger business. He has employees.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I was spending a lot of time over there, just like in the middle of his business. He was an open book. He was like, you could see, ask, do whatever you want.
Mm.
And like, I got to see some of the problems he was having with employees, and, you know, the headaches of having a business that was the size his was.
Sure.
To be able to get out of the field. And I was like, golly, I don't know if I really want all those headaches. You know, I don't know if that's for me.
Yep.
So that was another reason I started looking elsewhere.
Well, it's always like the guy who's got 6 employees and he's like, man, you know, if you don't have a bigger business, like you're a loser. And I'm like, dude, you have 6 people, okay? Or like 16. Like, you still don't have any idea what you're talking about, like, respectfully. And why you have a bigger business than you? I'm like, so what? Doesn't mean you're better at business. It just means you got more customers and more headaches. Like, it doesn't mean you're happier, you know? And by the way, when did it turn into like a competition? You know, I'm like,
right. Everybody should be able to choose what size business they want to have. I mean, I think there's guys, look at Mitchell Gordy. I mean, he had employees. Now he's back down to being solo and happier than he's ever been. So, I mean, I think it just suits each person individually of where their business, and we shouldn't judge each other because, Kevin's only been solo for 6 years. I mean, but I have a business that has 100 and something customers, and I've only been in business 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't tell you how many times I've actually had people say stuff about the fact that I'm not a real business because I didn't grow as fast as they did. And I'm like,
whatever.
I grew as fast as I wanted to grow.
Right.
You know, I was picky. I was choosy. I wasn't taking every customer that came along.
Mm-hmm.
And because I didn't want to mow that 2-acre hill that was at a, 60-degree angle, you know?
Blake Hawthorne had a bigger business and he scaled back to where probably about 8 or 10 guys, I think he said, maybe 6 to 9 guys. And he's happy with the size and the profit and the revenue. I think he's like, we like almost, I don't want to put words in his mouth from your guys' podcast, on Paul's podcast. But he's like, we have the revenue, but we like made the same amount of profit. He's like, because we're lean and mean, something of that nature. And I'm like,
yeah. He definitely switched things around and tried to get way more profitable.
His jackpot jobs.
I'll call him out. I'll call him out because he's my friend. He's a hard-headed dude. And it's like, if you watched him on Instagram, he finally bought a debris loader. I've been arguing with him about debris loaders for 2 years. This dude used to shove leaves into a trailer with a lawnmower and think that was the fastest way to clean up leaves, and would argue you to no end saying that was the way to do it.
That's
and
funny
he finally did a post on Instagram the other day saying that Kevin was right. I should have got a debris loader.
Got to screenshot that one for the archives, right? You know.
So just because I'm a business that has no employees, he's a business that's had all the way up to 30 something employees.
Right.
You know, just because you are that big business doesn't mean you know everything.
Well,
you know, it goes right back to what we were just talking about.
Well, I had to explain this one to Liz once because we were driving on a highway right where we live, and we were headed to go get some breakfast one day, and it was like such a case study, bro, of like we were driving in the middle lane, 3-lane highway, and on the right we were passing a Lambo, and it was like slick ass, Lambo Huracan, just sweet looking cars, white one with the black rims. And I was like, dude, that's what we need. Like, and he was going, dude, maybe 65, 70 miles an hour, right? Just just going down the road. And on the fast lane, this, I don't know if it was a Corvette or a Mustang, I forget, but I think it might've been a Corvette. And this Corvette just goes, just like zips right by. And you could tell like he was like, egging on the Lambo. And he's in the fast lane, just poking. And Liz goes, why does the Lambo smoke him? I told Liz, because the Lambo doesn't have to prove that he can smoke the Corvette. And I know some of you guys are going to be like, oh, the Corvette could smoke the Lambo. That's not the point. Okay. The point is the Lambo doesn't need, the Lambo doesn't need to prove that he can go 210 miles an hour and, smoke the Corvette on a good day, and the Corvette's just over there, just revving revving the engine, squawking the tires, making noise, changing lanes, being a dick. And it's not an indictment on Corvette owners. I'm just saying. But Liz goes, why doesn't he smoke him? I go, because he doesn't need to. He's not trying to prove that he's the hot shot. And the Corvette's over here just, revving the engine and trying to be the tough guy. And, I told Liz, I said, let's just be the cool Lambo. Let's just chill. Let's go 68 miles an hour and frustrate people that you're driving so slow. And you just look so classy, so elegant, And it's always the guys that I was in like a little Facebook war about a week ago. I discovered a Facebook group. I didn't really know these exist because I don't.
I stay away from the Facebook group.
You know where I'm going. Well, somebody tagged me on something, and I just went in there. I just stuck my index finger in there and just kind of stirred the pot. And dude, this one guy was like a dog on a bone about how much more successful he was than me. He's like, I got 3 crews and 3 trucks, and our business is way bigger than yours. And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me right now? Like, who are you trying to compare against? And people are jumping on my bandwagon, like defending me, and they're like, probably not the battle to fight, dude. Like, Brian will crush you. And I deal with trolls and haters all day, so I'm just smacking this guy up on Facebook. But there's a couple of you guys listening in that were in that group, and that thread now has 258 comments I saw. Because everybody just the whole thread lit up like a Christmas tree. And the guy that asked the question was, hey, are you anybody in this group going to Brian's Lawn Maintenance's live event? And
that's what started it.
Dude, that's what started. And I saw the exact guy at my live event that he comes up to me. He goes, dude, I didn't know that we would start World War III in this Facebook group. He's just, I was just genuinely asking so he could carpool or get dinner with anybody, And 275 comments later, people just, 90-10, pro Brian's Lawn Maintenance and the lawn care community versus this guy. But he was just he's 20 comments deep, dude, just going at it like projecting. And he's like, I got a much bigger business. I'm like, so you got 3 trucks and 6 guys. Come on, dude. Who you kidding? I got 1 truck and 3 guys. What are we measuring, what? And I'm not saying all Facebook groups are like that at all, because there's a lot of good content in those groups as well. But, I don't know, man. I just want to be like the Lambo, driving 70 miles an hour, just chilling. I don't have anything to prove. And but if I need to flex and drop the hammer, that Lambo is going to smoke the Corvette, And as I also do this talk, somebody's going to send me a DM of their LS swapped, whatever Corvette that's got 900 horsepower. And not this Corvette, bro. So, and if that's you, send me the photo, because I'm into cars, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but
for real, Corvettes are nice cars too, but yeah, a Lambo is still my dream car.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Nobody cares about your $58,000 Corvette, bro. It's not the point. The point is that you're in a $300,000 Lambo, and the Corvette guy can't afford that one, and it's a whole nother story. But so anyway, I don't know. I don't know where we're going on this whole podcast now, talking about cars for 10 minutes. But well, let's do this, man. We're almost at an hour here, and I want to respect your time too. We're shooting this late night, and we both just got done with dinner. And I know you got a new family, and you're just a new baby girl. She's what, 18 months old now, baby, or
16.
16 months. That's awesome. Well, I got a 24-month-old dog, you know what I'm saying? And so when do you stop doing the month thing, by the way? When does that go away? Like
I said I wanted to quit doing it at 1 year, but that didn't really go over too well. I think it's at 2. I think. I don't really know. It's something about the shots and all this kind of stuff. Because I kept asking my wife, I was like, why did they go past 12 months? I mean, once you hit 12 months, that's called 1 year.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't say I'm like 200 and something months old, you know?
You got 48 months, 48-month-old. Yeah, he's 4. He's going into kindergarten. He's going into pre-K, but he's only 48 months, and
right.
Yeah, I've never understood that. I was there like a scene in like Big Daddy with I'm not even going to go down that route, but like
no, it was Grown Up. That's the one you're talking about.
If you guys listen to this podcast, you're laughing on the motor. Yeah. He's only 48 months. He's a 4-year-old. Well, that's a great segue right there to button it up before we both get ourselves into more trouble. Amen. So, but
all right,
that's funny right there, dude. Well, dude, I'm excited to do this podcast with you. It's been a trip down memory lane for me, and honestly, like we've been trying to bang this out for the last 6 months. It's just been, like I said, on many podcasts. It's been a crazy year, and I know folks love the interview type style podcasts, and this one's a treat for me because I can definitely consider you as a friend, and we've been buds for. Wow. I mean, at least 4.5 years. I mean, since the minute I started on YouTube, I think you were one of the first people to comment, to like, subscribe, and believe in what we were doing way back when. And I've never tried to say like, look at my channel, look at your channel, or look at this or look at that. I've always considered you as a friend, whether our channel was smaller than yours, the same size, or bigger. And it's just cool to still have good friendships, 4 or 5 years later, and not let all the stupid numbers and the sizes and all that get in the way. And so this is kind of just for me, just a fun little throwback here, getting to hang out with one of my friends on the podcast for an hour and see how far we both have come. I'm excited to see you, your family, your new house, and this new career that you got right before you, and going to be launching here just next week, man. So anything else you want to leave these guys while we got you? But if not, we'll button this thing up, bro.
No, I just want to say I appreciate it to you. I enjoyed having you on the YouTube channel back in the day, and it's fun to actually do this again and have kind of an interview style. And man, I appreciate what you've done for the lawn care community. You've put in the work. You've hustled like crazy. Nobody else can hustle like you hustle. And you've grown an amazing channel. Congratulations on 100,000. I think the silver play button is awesome.
Thanks, man. Amen.
But I appreciate what you do, and thank you for leading this community the way you've led it and helping it grow.
I appreciate the kind words, man. At our live event, I did a talk called "Who Wins When You Succeed," and it was because you had a great starting YouTube channel with 1,500 subs that took me under your wing and gave me a couple pointers that I think honestly were really foundational. And that's not lip service. I even if they were very remedial, back then, like just names, titles, tags, and when to post. It was it's so basic, but we still apply the same principles, man. And it's just cool to see it come full circle. But any which way, this I don't know if as much as an interview as it was just a casual conversation with two buds, man. And hopefully you guys listening in got some value out of it, and hopefully enjoyed it, and maybe helped an hour burn off the clock as we're all probably either doing leaves or plowing snow, or maybe even showing a home, right? So, but
right.
Any which way, Kevin Frost, Kevin Fall River, and we'll definitely keep up with him on Instagram, and we'll give you guys updates as his career moves on, and whether he decides to keep Fall River, if he decides to sell it, or if he decides to have two businesses and be a serial entrepreneur like so many others. Kevin, we appreciate you big time, brother, for joining us on the show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Good deal, man. All right, guys. Well, let's kick it over to the best producer in the biz, Mr. Marty, Mr. Producer. We'll see you guys on the next one.
I can honestly say I've never ever seen the movie Big Daddy. And after Brian and Kevin mentioned it, I decided to watch some of the movie clips on YouTube and instantly regretted it. Something, though, that you will not regret is going to launchpreneuracademy.com and grabbing Brian's price increase letter. You heard on today's show about the one thing that they would do differently, and that being pricing. Well, this customizable letter will help you get headed in the right direction on price, and we have it at the right price of just $25. While you're there, also look at the postcard templates. These are designed to help you get new customers. Now, you can buy them based on the season that you're targeting, winter, spring, summer, or fall, or save some money when you get all four. I'll see you back here on Monday for another powerful program.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.